they hardly show emotion.
Okay.
So they are always like that. And because of that, these are people who are mostly very analytical, very thoughtful. So most of the things that they do are here instead of out there, instead of speaking it out. That is, and these are people who love peace. So peace. So therefore, I will not come into your case.
Zone. Yeah.
So you too
don't come to my zone.
So that is a phlegmatic. So there's that difference between the phlegmatic and the melancholic.
Okay.
Sometimes, of course, there may be some mix-up, and that is the reason why the supine, because the supine is more like,
which is the last, the
fifth
one. The fifth one.
Because you see, when you have a grid, it's like there is this element that seems to be, and it's more like, some people describe it as unexpressed sanguine.
Okay.
So the person is sanguine but doesn't express it.
Okay.
Therefore, the person is just there like that.
Okay.
So these are some of the.
So his bits of almost everything.
He's more like, good. If you want to put it that, we will say that the supine is more like bits of everything. But you see, it was named supine. It's more like, okay, you are looking up.
I see.
You are lying down looking up and all
I see.
So these are some of the characteristics. I think I just finished talking about the melancholic, and I veered into phlegmatic because you asked a question about whether the melancholic has friends.
Yeah.
Melancholic will typically have a few friends that he or she is very faithful to and will maintain them for God knows how long.
Okay.
A phlegmatic may not have a friend at all.
Wow.
A sanguine has 1 million friends.
Yeah.
Is unable to keep them.
Yeah. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. But I would want to know, is it possible for one person to exhibit two or more than one temperament?
Yeah, it's very possible that everybody, I don't think we have one person with only one temperament. Definitely people will have two or more. Just as Pastor said that sanguine likes keeping friends, and then the melancholy doesn't take friends, but though he's always to himself, definitely one way or the other he will make friends. So we have the characteristics of this entering into the other one.
Wow. Pastor.
Yeah. Okay. There are blends.
Yeah.
In fact, I think most of the time we talk about, okay, when we say you are this, it means that is the dominant one.
Okay.
But there are blends. I think the various theories, like I said, the popular one is what Tim Lehaye came out.
Okay.
Now, and when Tim Lehaye brought it, he mentioned that you can be sanguine and then have choleric.
Okay.
So you are sanco.
Oh, okay.
So you are sanguine, typically maybe 60%.
That is the dominant.
And then the lesser bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe I haven't developed this fully, but it is possible to, like we said, you have bits of each one, but maybe very minimal in each, so that you are somebody who is, say, 60% sanguine, 20% melancholic, and maybe 15% of, say, choleric, and 5% of phlegmatic. That is possible. So it is possible to have that. And most of the time, the blends are normally a big one and a small one.
Pastor, the discussion is becoming more interesting. My viewer, let's go for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will delve more into it. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you.
We want to defy our family's decision and get married or elope. I need advice. What should I do?
Please, what should I do?
How do I tell her I cheated on her months ago? I need help. What should I do?
Okay, so for me, the moment I read the story, the first thing that came to mind was, wow, knowledge is indeed power. Sometimes we go through situations because we have no knowledge of how to go about them.
If you come from a home like that, you are likely to accept anything the outsider would, direct at.
The fact that we had an interesting ceremony where a priest prayed and all of that doesn't mean that magically you have turned into something else.
If he finds his way to God, a Bible-believing church, and he goes and he wants to change, nothing is
he giving
impossible.
his properties to charity and stuff?
Oh no, why? Okay, I think this is another.
Hello, you are welcome back from that quick break, and thank you so much for staying tuned. You are watching Love at Home, and we are discussing temperament. The discussion has been so interesting, and I'm sure you are with your children, and they should learn. You to take time to study them. Before we left on break, we were discussing how the various types of temperaments are characterized at home. Let's go on straight to Mrs. Amponsa. How do I know that this temperament is best fit for this career path that I want to choose or my ward should embark on?
Okay, thank you. Looking at your child and seeing your child being in one or two of these temperaments that you're discussing will help you to make a choice. For even these days, children don't want us to choose their jobs for them. They want to do it themselves. But you realize that maybe your child wants to do this, and you can guide and tell the child, this particular, looking at you, this job is not suitable for you. You know, one of the characteristics of the melancholy is that, just as I said, they are people who are to themselves. They don't like talking. And you force this child to be a teacher. Definitely the child is not going to mingle with the children because he sees the children as nuisance. So at our workplaces, though people have decided to do this particular work, you look at their temperament and you realize that no, this person is not suitable for this job.
This particular role that has been assigned.
Yes, so it's very important to know your temperament when it comes to choosing a career.
Yeah, Pastor, would you want to add on?
All right, yes. Even she ended on the note of the melancholic. Of course, it's actually been found out that melancholics become better teachers.
Oh, okay.
Because this is a reason. You see, the person doesn't like talking and all that, but the person is normally, because teaching has to do with a relationship, and these are people who are able to keep relationships longer. Mm-hmm. So when you are, especially teaching the lower
class
levels, they are better at that.
Okay.
Rather, it is when someone is phlegmatic that is difficult. Okay. They don't share any emotion.
Yeah, they keep to themselves.
So just imagine a phlegmatic being at customer care.
Hey.
Nobody will come and buy.
Lots of fun. When you see their face, you walk away.
Yeah, no. The person doesn't belong there. So now, what I'm driving at is that yes, it is true that our temperament can actually determine our career path. Fortunately, most of the time, we are. We tend to move toward those areas. But in a few instances, we are forced by circumstances to divert to some aspects. And we would say that if you're a parent and you know that, okay, this child is like this, then you can begin guiding the child toward an area. For example, if somebody is, I talked about the phlegmatic. Okay. Now, these people are good in careers that do not really involve having any affective, relationship. For example, if you have a judge who is phlegmatic. Now, I mentioned that these are very thoughtful, analytical, and involving, but when there's an issue, it's not about emotions. It's about the facts that are laid. So, a phlegmatic would, for example, make a very good judge.
Okay.
Because of the nature, his nature or her nature, and the work.
Okay.
Choleric, for example, one quality I think we probably didn't mention is leadership. These are people who like to take tasks, who like to lead, want to be in charge and all that. So cholerics would normally do well when they are in leadership positions. Most of the time. Whereas people like, if a sanguine can be a leader, but may not
be so much focused.
May not, yes. So he is better when a follower, even though they are also good leaders. Yeah. And if you have, say, a business executive who is melancholic, then you see that, the person is business executive, very orderly, puts things and all that. And then the kind of people that the person is even likely to have around him or her. Also, because there are some of the personality types that actually do not find some other personalities happy, to be around.
Yeah.
No, they are annoying.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
A phlegmatic will typically find a sanguine annoying.
Too much.
Yes. Very annoying. You are all over the
You are too loud.
Yes. You are coming to my space and all that.
They describe as too known.
Exactly. Yes. You are coming into my space. I don't need you and all that. So that is just an example. So the personality type of your child, you can guide the person to study certain things, because if the person's personality makes him or her analytical, then you can go into the sciences. A phlegmatic can be a good scientist. All that they want is their lab and the instruments, no people. So they are good scientists. A sanguine would be a better politician. Of course, cholerics are also good,
because of
good
the
politicians.
People-oriented nature that they have,
and then the fact that they can talk, they can win the hearts of people. So politics and all that. So these are elements that we can talk about. You may not want to be a nurse if you are phlegmatic, for example.
Yeah.
You really may not feel for patients and all that. So these are elements that we can look at to help our children to choose careers.
Wow. So let's know the rules. If I have a friend, the person is, say, sanguine, and I am a choleric, and I exhibit this leadership rules, I'm sure the sanguine friend will have a problem with me. How do I manage this scenario? For example, you're at workplace. You've been given a task to do. You have a sanguine person who is in your team. He's all over like that. Because you just said that sometimes they want to be leaders. And I know choleric people also show leadership rules. How do we manage such issues or conflicts when it happens? Pastor.
Okay, so in the workplace, and for me, this actually makes the point clear that everybody would have to know and understand temperaments. So that when I'm in the workplace, I'm in a team with this guy who has an idea about everything. He has an idea. He would tell a story. He will remember something. Then I know that this guy, he has ideas, and it is good. But if we follow him, we will land in a ditch. Reason? Because of his plenty ideas and his optimistic nature, when we are tackling a task, he doesn't see the problem. He only sees the end result, which is good. So I think that I will need this other person who is asking questions. This other person who is quite pessimistic. I don't judge the person and say you are too negative.
Yes.
No. You need the balance.
Yeah.
In fact, the truth is that we need that balance to coexist.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I need that balance. So I need that person who is like that. How about that lady who is quiet throughout the meeting? Is just like this and looking at us. Trust me, I can tell, or maybe after working with the team for a while, I can tell this lady is phlegmatic. She's like this, a lot is going on in her mind. Chances are that she may not say a word. When we are, they are so, they don't care. Even if we are falling into a ditch, they don't want to. But if I'm the leader and I'm working with such a team, I know that this person has ideas. This person is analytical. I would have to reach out to the person.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes it's difficult to reach out.
For them to open up.
For the person to open up.
Yeah.
But once I am able to do that, I will get those ideas as well. And it eventually helps the team.
Wow. Mr. Samponsa, looking at these temperaments, how can we motivate each of these temperaments? How can we motivate them? For example, if somebody is a melancholy, he has done so well, he's your child or he's your colleague at work, and you want to motivate, what forms of motivation would they love to be accepted with?
So you once you know your child, or you know the person you are living with, and you know that this person have this particular type of temperament, then you have to make sure that whether the child or an adult, with your environment that the child or the adult find himself in, it will help you to motivate that particular child.
Okay.
So you don't condemn them.
Okay.
So if your child likes talking, it means he's a sanguine, and you also have to encourage the child. When he asks so many questions, you have to answer. So you don't just shun them. Oh, you like too much. You like talking too much. You go to your room. When you continue doing that, eventually, just how you said, the environment can change the person. At the end of the day, you will not be able to get the end results. Yeah.
Okay. Pastor,
Yes,
motivation,
yeah.
If I have a husband, he has done something good, and I'm a sanguine, probably I'll go in and say, hello, darling, I love you. But if he's not a sanguine person, you'll be like, what is that? What is that? What is that?
Yeah,
how do I motivate
Exactly.
a melancholic
All right.
person and
Okay.
all that?
So
you're using this to wind up. My time is.
oh my goodness. Okay, fine. So
Sorry, the time is too short, but we'll come back next week to discuss extensively about it.
Yeah, so I mean, when you are motivating somebody, you need to know who the person is and what makes the person feel motivated.
Yes.
Some people feel motivated when you actually challenge them the more.
Okay.
For some people, it is like when you touch on what you didn't do well, that is what will make the person to do better next time.
Wow.
For another person, it is when you talk about what he did well, that will motivate him to do even better.
Yeah.
For example, I mean, for a sanguine, when you are more positive, then the person is likely to do better.
Yes.
If you talk about the negatives to a melancholic, you are likely to dampen his spirit.
Wow.
You know, and all, so you should know who and how to go about it. I wish that I wasn't doing this under 1 minute.
Mr. Samposa, please wind up last sentence comments on this discipline. You were a teacher.
Yes.
Use discipline to wind up for us.
For every parent or a teacher, you must know the temperament of the people around you, so that you don't make any mistakes of saying something negative that will cause them to quell into their shells. Yes. So I believe that a person's temperament will even will determine the type of discipline that you want to use on that particular child. For example, if you ask a sanguine to stand up in a classroom, he will do something for all the class members
to laugh.
To laugh.
You will not see it as a punishment.
No, so you don't use that to punish them.
Okay.
But so you look at the person's temperament and you know the appropriate
punishment or discipline
that you have to give.
Oh, my lovely viewer. All too soon my time is up. I wish I had so many hours to discuss this. But hey, do not worry. Same time next week, we'll be on your screens, on your airways, and we're going to discuss extensively in children, at workplace, and marriage or married life, couples. How can these temperaments affect or shaping our lives? On this note, I say thank you so much for watching this program, but continue discussing it in your homes. I'm sure you're discussing with your children and they are telling you some interesting things. Go ahead, discuss with them and know them better. And let children also get to know you, parents, better so that they can appreciate whatever we are discussing, whatever we are doing. Because at the end of the day, we want to strengthen families so that one day when Jesus Christ comes, all of us will meet up in heaven. On this note, I say thank you so much and good night. Bye-bye.
Christ is King.